Welcome to the lecture on evaporation. So the learning objectives of this lecture are to understand the concept of evaporation, to study the factors affecting evaporation, to demonstrate the methods of estimation of evaporation, and to learn the methods of reduction of evaporation. So at the end of this video, you will understand what is evaporation, then what are the factors affecting evaporation, how to estimate the evaporation, and to learn the methods of reduction of evaporation. What is evaporation? Evaporation is the process in which a liquid changes to the gaseous state from the free surface. Means you can say in simple words, water is transferred into a water is transferred into a gaseous state. So it is called as evaporation. Evaporation from water bodies and soil mass together with transpiration from vegetation is called as evapotranspiration. So evaporation from water surfaces as well as from soil mass along with transpiration from the vegetation, that is foliage of the vegetation, leaves of the vegetation, is called as evapotranspiration. So in evaporation, water gets converted into gaseous state. Water gets transferred into a gaseous state from the water body surfaces of the water bodies. In transpiration, water gets transferred into a vapors from the leaves of the trees or foliage of the trees. Now, rate of evaporation depends upon various factors or factors affecting rate of evaporation. Various factors are there, but I had listed few factors here: vapor pressures, wind speed, atmospheric pressure, quality of water, air and water temperatures, and size of the water body. We shall discuss one by one. So very first is vapor pressure. The rate of evaporation is proportional to the difference between the saturation vapor pressure at the water temperature and the actual vapor pressure in the air. Rate of evaporation, it depends upon difference between saturation vapor pressure at the water temperature, it is EW, and actual vapor pressure in the air, EA, given as EL equals to C in bracket EW minus EA bracket complete. This is also called as Dalton's law. So vapor pressure depends upon the pressure difference between saturation pressure at the water temperature and actual vapor pressure in the air. So this EL, that is lake evaporation, it is given as C in bracket EW minus EA bracket complete. This is also called as Dalton's law. Sometimes in the exam it is asked, what is Dalton's law? So you should define as the rate of evaporation is proportional to the difference between saturation vapor pressure at the water temperature and actual vapor pressure in the air. EL equals to C in bracket EW minus A bracket complete, where EL is the rate of lake evaporation in mm per day. C the constant whose value depends upon wind velocity and humidity. EW, it is known, it is saturation vapor pressure at the water temperature. EA, actual vapor pressure in the air. So this is regarding vapor pressure. Next is wind speed. So what is the effect of wind speed on the evaporation? Wind helps to remove the evaporated water vapor from the zone of evaporation, thereby creating greater scope for evaporation. So in the area where water body is there, and if wind velocity is higher, in that case evaporation will be more. Because what will happen? The moving wind, it will separate the water particles, water molecules from the surface of water, and it will accelerate the evaporation. So if wind speed is more, in that case evaporation will be more. So it is directly proportional. Atmospheric pressure, other factors remaining same, a decrease in atmospheric pressure increases the evaporation rate. Means it is inversely proportional. If atmospheric pressure is more, evaporation will be less. Atmospheric pressure is less, evaporation will be more. Now quality of water. This is very important. When water is good, What is pure water? In that evaporation will be more. In case of seawater, evaporation is less. It is 2 to 3% less than the fresh water. When a solute is dissolved in water, the vapor pressure of the solution is less than that of pure water, and hence it causes reduction in the rate of evaporation. Under identical condition, evaporation from seawater is about 2 to 3% less than the fresh water. So based on the quality of water, you can say if quality of water is good, if it is a fresh water, potable water, in that case evaporation will be more. In case of seawater, salt contents are there, evaporation will be less, because the salt it accelerates the condensation process, right? So it will not allow water particles to separate. On the contrary, it will accelerate as a condensation, so it will gather the molecules, the particles, small particles into a bigger particles, and that's why in case of seawater the evaporation rate is less. Evaporation is this less, about 2 to 2% less with compared to fresh water. Temperatures, other factors remaining same, the rate of evaporation increases with an increase in the water temperature. So when temperature will be more, evaporation rate will be more. Now next is size of the water body. This is also important. Size of the water body. Deep water bodies have more heat storage capacity than shallow water bodies. A deep lake stores radiation energy received in summer and releases in the winter. This is a contradictory sentence. Size of the water body. If surface area is more, evaporation will be more. So in case of deep water, obviously surface area will be less, so evaporation will be less. In case of deep water bodies, if water body is deep, so depth will be more, surface area will be less, evaporation will be less. In case of shallow water bodies, depth will be less, surface area will be more, evaporation will be more. But here one more contradiction is given. A deep lake stores radiation energy received in summer and releases it in winter, resulting in less evaporation in summer and more evaporation in winter when compared to a shallow lake exposed to a similar situations. So this is based on a lot of experiments. So we won't have to go into detail of this. Simply remember, when surface area is more, evaporation will be more. Surface area is less, evaporation rate will be less. The effect of heat storage is to change the seasonal evaporation rates, and the annual evaporation remains more or less unaltered. Rate of evaporation is directly proportional to the surface area, as already we have explained. Now measurement of evaporation, how evaporation is measured. So there are different ways. Very first is using evaporimeters, using empirical equations, and using analytical methods. So evaporimeters, these are the pans. Evaporimeters are nothing but these are the pans containing water which are exposed to the atmosphere. Loss of water by evaporation from these pans are measured at regular intervals, normally daily. Meteorological data such as humidity, wind velocity, air and water temperatures and precipitation are also measured and noted along with the evaporation. So evaporimeters are nothing but these are the pans. These are the pans, and with the help of these pans evaporation can be measured. While recording the measures simultaneously, humidity, wind velocity, air and water temperature and precipitation, these are also recorded along with this evaporation. So few commonly used evaporimeters are Class A evaporation pan, ISI standard pan and Colorado Sankalp pan. Most of the time short note is asked on this evaporimeters, or explain ISI standard pan, Class A evaporation pan, depending upon the examiner. So now coming to Class A evaporation pan. So this is the Class A evaporation pan. Here you can see the diameter of this pan is 210 mm and the depth of this pan is 255 mm, and it is resting on a timber or wooden platform of 150 mm. So horizontal and vertical. So it is 150 mm. Wooden support is there, square wooden support is there. A pan of diameter 210 mm, depth is 255 mm. Depth of water is maintained between 18 to 20 centimeter. 18 to 20 centimeter water depth. So from the top, it is kept open up to 50 mm. The pan is made up of unpainted galvanized iron sheet, GI sheet. The pan is made up of unpainted GI sheet. The pan is placed on a wooden platform of height 15 cm or 150 mm above ground level to allow free air circulation below the pan. Your operation is measured by measuring the depth of water in a stilling well. Stilling well is provided here for measuring with the help of gauge. It can be measured. So this is all about Class A operation pan. So if you remember the construction very easily, so this description is nothing but construction. So simply remember that it is made up of unpainted galvanized iron sheet. The diameter is 210 mm, depth is 250 mm. It is resting on a wooden platform of 150 mm. Square wooden platform is there, and in this water is kept keeping 50 mm free from the top, and then your operation is measured with the help of stilling well. Pressure arrangement is there, which is where hook gauge is provided. So this is regarding Class A operation pan. Now next is ISI standard evaporation pan. This pan is specified by IS 5973 and known as modified Class A pan. This is also known as modified Class A pan. In case of this, if you observe the sketch here, all dimensions are given, right? So same thing we shall discuss along with this. A pan is having diameter 220 mm and depth is 255 mm. Depth is same, similar to previous one. The pan is made up of copper sheet. Here pan is made up of copper sheet. There it is made up of unpainted GI sheet. Here it is made up of copper sheet 0.9 mm thick, tinned inside and painted white outside. Inside it is tin. Glossy appearance is given. It is made up of tin sheet. The pan is placed on a square wooden platform of 225 mm, 5 mm more than diameter, and height 100 mm above ground level to allow free air circulation below the pan. In case of Class A pan, it is 150 mm, diameter is 210 mm. A fixed point gauge indicates the level of water. Water is added to or removed from the pan to maintain the water level at a fixed mark using a calibrated cylindrical measure. So in case of this pan, water is added or removed with the help of calibrated cylinder. Calibrated cylinder is used, specific cylinder is used to add the water or to remove the water. The top of the pan is covered with a hexagonal wire net of galvanized iron to protect water in the pan from buds. To avoid the disturbance from the buds, the top of this pan is covered with the help of wire net of GI. Presence of the wire mesh makes the temperature of water more uniform during the day and night also. Evaporation from this pan is about 14% lower as compared to that from an unscreened pan. If unscreened pan is there, in that case your operation will be more. So in case of this, your operation is less by 14%. So this is regarding IS standard pan. So in case of this, so here you can see it is made up of copper sheet of 0.9 mm. The diameter of this is 220 mm. The depth is 255 mm. Depth is 255 mm. It is resting on a wooden platform, square wooden platform of 1225 mm. On the top, it is covered with the help of GI wire mesh to protect it from the buds. At the same time, it maintains the temperature. So here, in case of this IS pan, here stilling well is provided. This is very important. Stilling well is provided. Here, the diameter of the stilling well is 102 mm. The depth of the stilling well is 235 mm, equals to the top of water. Equals to the top of water, and the pointer is provided at 190 mm. Right, 190 mm. The diameter of the well is out is 102 into in is the diameter of pointer is 10 mm. So this is about this IS standard. And it's very simple. Most of the time short note is asked on this modified Class A pan or ISI standard pan. Now next is Colorado sunken pan. So the Class A pan, ISI standard pan, these are provided on the ground surface. In case of this Colorado sunken pan, its name is sunken pan. So it is sunken into the ground. So this Colorado sunken pan, it is 920 mm square. Previous two are circular, so this is square. 902 mm square pan made up of unpainted giacite, 460 mm deep, and buried into the ground. It is inserted into the ground, it is buried into the ground, or it is a sunken pan into the ground within 100 mm of the top. Main advantage of this pan is its aerodynamic and radiation characteristics are similar to that of lake. As it is sunken, it creates the characteristics like a lake, natural lake. So this is called as Colorado sunken pan. It is 920 mm square, depth is 460, and water surface is kept up to 50 mm from the top. Disadvantages are difficult to detect leakage. If any sort of leakage is there, in case of this Colorado sunken, it is very difficult to detect. Expensive to install. This is very expensive to install. Extra care is needed to keep the surrounding area free from tall grass, dust, etc. So these are the disadvantages. It is very difficult to detect any sort of leakage and is expensive to install. So this is regarding Colorado sunken pan. Hope you understood all the Yopori meters. Now coming to pan coefficient. What is this pan coefficient? Evaporation pans are not exact models of large river. Right? These are the alternatives to measure the evaporation. Their major drawbacks are they differ from reservoirs in the heat storage capacity and transfer characteristics from the sides and the bottom. The heat transfer characteristics of the pan material is different from that of natural reservoir. Hence, evaporation measured from a pan has to be corrected to get the evaporation from a large lake under identical conditions and exposure conditions. So what is this pan coefficient? Because whatever evaporation pans are used, these are not similar to natural reservoir, natural lake, because the characteristics will definitely differ. So whatever evaporation is measured, it is not exactly evaporation. For that purpose, we have to use pan coefficient. So in this case, lake evaporation equals to pan evaporation multiplied by pan coefficient. So whatever pan evaporation will be there, it should be multiplied with the help of pan coefficient for getting the exact evaporation, or evaporation equals to natural lake. Now we shall discuss some empirical equations. So Mayer's equation is used, Rohr's equation used. At this level we shall discuss only Mayer's formula. So this is the Mayer's formula for determination of evaporation. Lake evaporation equals to K suffix n as K suffix m in bracket EW minus EF bracket complete, next bracket 1 plus V9 by 16 bracket complete. So what is Mayer's formula? Lake evaporation equals to K suffix m EW minus EA multiplied by 1 plus V9 by 16. So here EL is lake evaporation in mm per day. EW saturated vapor pressure at the water surface temperature in mm of mercury. EA is the actual vapor pressure of air at a specified height in mm of mercury. So EWEA already we have discussed while discussing the lake factors affecting, that is Dalton's law. V9 monthly mean wind velocity in km per hour at about 9 meter above ground level. And Km, K suffix m is the coefficient. It is the pan coefficient or evaporation coefficient. It depends upon the depth of lake. 0.36 for deep lake and 0.50 for shallow lake or shallow waters. So this is the very good formula. Normally it is used in the government departments for calculation of evaporation. So evaporation is measured with the help of pan, can be compared with the help of this Mayer's formula to check, to provide a check. In the government department, almost all government department, they used to use Mayer's formula for this. Now on this formula we shall discuss one numerical to clear your concepts. Most of the times the numerical is asked for 4 to 6 marks in the exam. A reservoir with a surface area of 250 hectare had the following average values of parameters during a week. Water temperature 20 degrees centigrade, relative humidity 40%, wind velocity at 1 meter above ground 16 km per hour. Estimate the average daily evaporation from the lake and the volume of water evaporated from the lake during that 1 week. So here all this data is given and we are supposed to calculate the lake evaporation. So using the Mayer's formula, we have Mayer's formula EL equals to K suffix M EW minus EA multiplied by 1 plus V9 by 16. So here Km already we have discussed, this is the coefficient which depends upon the deep or shallow water. So here it is not mentioned, so we will assume it as a deep water. As a deep water body it is 0.36 km. Then EW and EA. So in case of this numerical water temperature, it is given 20 degrees centigrade. So with the help of this we can find out EW, because in the exam directly value will be given or table will be provided. So value of EW for 20 degrees centigrade is 17.54 of mercury from the table. This table will be provided in the exam or directly value of EW will be given. Here temperature is given, sometimes direct value is also given or table is given, so it is very simple, right? So EW is known, Km is also known in this formula. Now there is a relationship between EW, EA and RH. So relative humidity is equals to EA upon EW or EA equals to RH into EW. So we are knowing RH, it is given in the numerical 40%, EW with reference to 20 degree temperature 17.54. So obviously we can calculate very easily saturated vapor pressure at the air temperature. EW, EA equals to RH into EW, it comes to be 7.02 mm of mercury. Then velocity at 9 meter above ground level. For this also there is a relationship that we have to use this relationship. Velocity at 9 equals to velocity at 1 meter multiplied by 9 to the power 1 by 7. This is the specific relationship this you have to remember while solving the numerical. V at 9 equals to V at 1 multiplied by 9 to the power 1 by 7. So V1, it is given in the numerical, it is 16 km per hour multiplied by 9 to the power 1 by 7 will get 21.9 km per hour. So now all parameters are known, Km is known, EW is known, EA is known, right? V at 9 is also known. Substituting all these values in the above equation of lake evaporation, EL equals to, substituting all the values, we'll get lake evaporation equals to 8.97 mm of day. It is mm per day. It is mm per day, 8.97 mm. With this data, we'll get lake evaporation equals to 8.97 mm per day. Now, what is asked in the numerical? In the numerical, it is asked estimate the average daily evaporation. Already we have calculated, and the volume of water. Now, volume of water evaporated from the lake. So evaporation is 8.97 mm per day. Now calculating evaporated volume in 7 days. Volume equals to per day depth multiplied by surface area and multiplied by required number of days. So surface area multiplied by depth, we will get the volume. It is for 1 day. It is asked to calculate for 7 days. So we can calculate 8.97, right? Area is given 250, area is given, unit is 250 hectare. So one should know the relationship between hectare and square meter. 1 hectare equals to 10 to the power 4 square meter. So 250 into 10 to the power 4 will get in terms of square meter. This is 8.97 divided by 1000, it will be in terms of meter, multiplied by 7 days, that is 1 week. So volume of water evaporated in a week will be 157 into 10 to the power 3 meter cube. 157,000 meter cube. So in this way, we can solve the numerical based on Mayer's formula, that too related to the lake evaporation. Hope you have understood it very easily, where it is very easy. Now coming to methods of reductions of reservoir evaporation. How the reservoir evaporation it can be reduce. So in all there are three ways which are specified as far as our syllabus is concerned: reduction of surface area, mechanical covers and chemical films. So reduction of surface area means if surface area is less, your operation will be less. If surface area is more, your operation will be more. So without disturbing to the volume, by reducing the surface area in other way, by increasing the depth, we can reduce the evaporation. So if depth is increased, surface area is reduced without disturbing the volume which is required to be stored, we can reduce the evaporation. Next is mechanical cover. This is little bit costly and it is not possible in case of big, but these mechanical covers are nothing but tin sheets are used to cover the lake surface. In case of small lake it is possible, or sometimes thermocol pieces are also used. These are spread on the surface of water body to reduce the evaporation. Now last is chemical films. This is normally preferred, this is normally used. So ethyl alcohol and stearyl alcohol, this is used to form a chemical films on the water surface. So these chemical films, these are flexible. The chemical films which are formed by ethyl alcohol and stearyl alcohol, these are flexible, and if get punctured due to insects or birds, it will get closed automatically. At the same time, these films are porous, so there will be oxidation. Otherwise, you can say the quality of water will get maintained. So chemical film is a good alternative. Nowadays people are using these chemical films for reduction of evaporation. Hope you have understood. So this is all about evaporation. Thank you.